Complete game coverage of the Cougars is right here on the KSL Sports Zone. It's a Big 12 title game showdown for Kalani Sitake and the Cougars as they square off against Texas Tech for a spot in the college football playoff. Exclusive Big 12 title game coverage on the Zone is presented by JCW's, the Burger Boys. Quality and a lot of it. You're locked on to JJ and Alex on 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone.
Welcome on out, everybody. Thanks for being with us on the program. JJ and Alex, 97.5, the KSL Sports Zone. Outside, mid-30s temperature. The wind kind of whipping up here as we're at the ballpark at America First Square where the holiday lights are going to be in full swing. The lights are already on. We're going to see this sun go down in the next hour or so.
Can't wait.
It's going to be awesome. So, well, look how I'm telling you. Well, right now we're already in the shade. It's not like it's going to suddenly.
Yeah, but
what? You got your listen to how good our gig is now. I got a heater for me. You got your own heater.
I do.
We're wearing KSL Sports winter gear.
I'm being a little whiny right now. I'll stop.
Listen, you are. You know what?
I came to work with a bad attitude today. The College Football Playoff Committee pissed me off. I'm taking it out on everybody else.
Hey, by the way, you can get the best blankets ever and the best gifts ever, saving 50% this season with the promo code ZONE50 at Minky Couture. MinkyCouture.com is where you can use that promo code, or just go in and mention it at any of the 6 locations, brick and mortar across the valley. Best blankets and best gifts ever, 50% off with the promo code ZONE50. Joining us on the program right now, Jarret Johnson. He covers Texas Tech football for Inside Red Raiders. Brought to you by JCW's, all of our conversations that are Big 12 championship game related. JCW's, the Burger Boys, quality and a lot of it. Jarret Johnson's on the program with us. Jarret, thanks for being with us. And we say quality and a lot of it with JCW's. There's a lot of love. There's a lot of love right now between Joey McGuire and Kalani Sitake. At some point, we have to stop with all this love fest. Aren't these guys supposed to not like each other at least for a few hours?
Yeah, first off, thanks for having me on, fellas. And, yeah, the love between those two is sickening, isn't it? With everything on the line Saturday. No, I mean, I think there's mutual respect. Honestly, I think there's a lot of mutual respect, at least from Texas Tech's end, from what I see, between the programs,
yeah.
You know, for just how heated the games are, just how impactful these games are for both these programs. Whether it be obviously the BYU fans supporting Tech's football Barber when they played in the regular season, that was unbelievable. But just the respectful way I saw at the Jones, the stadium here in Lubbock, as we call it, and just even online, I run a message board, and obviously I'm on social media a lot. And it just seems like there's a lot of respect between the two fan bases. And you know what? It's kind of been refreshing. I've been doing this a long time, and I haven't seen it. But I'm also kind of with y'all. I was, listening to that press conference, and I was like, okay, enough. Y'all like each other. Y'all are boys. Okay, time to duke it out. Then y'all can hang out after you fight like we all do,
It's looked like they've already booked a cruise together or something to get the
right.
wives together and everything. It's like, come on, guys. Like, you guys are – this is football, man.
Coach, I'll see you at the Nike meetings. Lunch is on me this time. No, it's on me. You're like, come on,
let's
get
go
out of here.
golfing before, hey, bud? It's just, yeah, we're not used to it either. But you know what? It is refreshing, and it is a great vibe. And I think it shows the character of both head coaches, in my opinion. We've been really impressed with Joey McGuire and what he's done there. If there's critics of Joey McGuire, I guess they would say and look at, okay, you're doing this because you got all this money and you got all this NIL to get these players. Can you tell us why Joey McGuire is so successful as a head coach, especially making the big jump from coming from high school to college? Why has he been successful, and how much of it is him as a head coach and not just the NIL money that they've been able to bring in?
That's a lot of questions. Those are great questions. I was just no. There was a lot. It's a lot to unpack. I covered him back in high school as well, and one thing I would say, he's one of the most genuine dudes. Like, he's the same guy you see in the press conferences that y'all see on social media, on all these shows. He's the same guy he was back when he was a head coach in high school at Cedar Hill out here in Texas. That doesn't hurt anything in terms of relationships, recruiting, all those things. All those things have come back to him. he's also very intentional. He kind of comes off as a aw shucks and defers praise to everybody, but this guy's had a plan for a long time. He's very intentional in everything he does. And then also, I mean, at this point, I think I could say, since, Tech's in the Big 12 championship for the first time ever, yes, the money is important. Talent does matter in sports, but there's a lot of schools out there that spend a lot of money. I mean, LSU, according to 24/7 Sports, had a slightly higher ranked transfer portal class, and they're not having the same success. I mean, They had to go out and get a new head coach, obviously. So I think McGuire gets a lot of credit for folding not just all these players from all over the country with the returners, but also 2 new coordinators as well under one culture, and making everybody believe in it, play for one another, and obviously have more success than Texas Tech, or at least as much success as Texas Tech has ever had. I think it's also important to point out part of his plan. His general manager, James Blanchard, is kind of set the new mold for the future of program building. They signed a top 20 class, slightly edging out BYU, of course. These 2 programs are just going head to head, but top 20 class today. And, obviously had one of the top transfer portal classes last cycle. So that's obviously working. I think Joey McGuire deserves a lot of credit for his CEO-style approach and being able to fold all these things under one culture and ultimately make it work.
What about the actual game itself from an X's and O's standpoint? I keep having conversations with people of, what should BYU do that's different this next time? And, that they take on Texas Tech, because it just felt like they were just out of sorts on all 3 phases. But what is it that Texas Tech does so well that maybe matches up really well, not just against BYU, but kind of against everybody? And what would BYU need to do differently to be able to make this game more competitive down in Arlington on Saturday?
Yeah, that's another great question. What's funny is a lot was just thinking about this. I thought this going into the game, and I even said early in the year when it was obvious, that Tech's defense was going to be this good and the offensive line had been improved, that the only team I saw in the Big 12 legitimately matching up, now got to give Arizona State a credit, but the only other team I really saw matching up in the trenches was BYU, which is one of the reasons that made that game so fascinating a month ago. I just feel like BYU's strengths and Texas Tech's strengths kind of align. They're both smash mouth, very physical teams. And I think, at least in the first game, Tech was more physical. They actually won that battle in the trenches. I mean, I don't think anybody can deny that. I also think that Tech is maybe a little more versatile in terms of some of the weapons it has, skill position players. But, I mean, again, that was the first game. It was in Lubbock. Tech definitely won the special teams battle that day. There were some mistakes by BYU, obviously that muff punt. So I think it's going to be really interesting to see, does BYU, like the offensive coordinator Roderick said after the game, they were max protect with 7 and had a hard time blocking 4. So do they kind of change strategy and spread out instead of, going max protect and do what BYU normally does? And if they do, does that work? So that chess match to me going into this game is very interesting, because it seems like to me, and y'all probably know BYU better than me, but from what I've seen, BYU just does what it does, and it's been very successful in doing what it does. But it didn't work out in that first matchup. So do they stick to who they are? Do they try and, pull off some chicanery, some trick plays, or different wrinkles, or something in between? I think that's very fascinating in terms of this matchup, with it being a rematch.
You look at the Arizona State game, and I think everyone would Texas Tech's so good. And trying to find a way to beat this team, and you think, well, Arizona State provided somewhat of a blueprint, but obviously there were some reasons and some circumstances in that game that led to that. Obviously, Baron Morton didn't play in that game. Is there a blueprint? What did Arizona State do in that game that could tell BYU or show BYU what some of the weaknesses are at this Texas Tech team? How do you beat Tech?
Yeah, I think you have to have some really talented skill players, especially receivers. You have to have a quarterback who can get the ball out of his hands really quickly. I think the short, quick passing game, if you could sustain it and protect your quarterback well enough, might be successful. Now, can you do that over the course of a whole game and be able to outscore Texas Tech? I don't know. Another thing besides Barron not playing is Tech, for whatever reason, didn't get their two star running backs the ball very much. I think they had 12 carries between them in that game, maybe 15 or 16 touches. That needs to be 25 between those two. And, I mean, I think that was a key in the BYU game as well. So I don't know if it was the young quarterback, Will Hammond, kind of checking out of some runs or just making other decisions, but that was an anomaly, and I think that cost Texas Tech that game as much as anything. I also thought blitzing off the edges and really disrupting, kind of playing Tech's game and getting in the backfield and disrupting some plays. It'll be interesting to see if that is if that will work against a fifth-year senior quarterback in Barron Morton, who's kind of seen every kind of defense and every kind of wrinkle that a defense can throw at him. But that worked on that day. And Arizona State, even with Will Hammond being in there, who's a very talented quarterback in his own right, instead of Barron Morton, definitely deserved credit for that win.
Well, it's going to be fascinating on Saturday to see how this thing gets handled. And, of course, from the national perspective, everybody's got eyes on this game to see who the likely singular representative of the Big 12 would be representing the conference in the college football playoff. I do think there's an outside shot that if BYU did upset in a close game a Texas Tech team, that Tech would stay in, but I don't know, just because the committee is such a schizophrenic, weird situation right now. So it's so hard to understand, and I think unfortunately for BYU, the writing's on the wall with their rankings over the past few weeks, what they're going to get if they take a loss in that game. So Jarret Johnson, he covers Texas Tech for Inside the Red Raiders, all brought to you by JCW's. And Jarret, thanks, man. We appreciate it. Thanks again for hanging with us and putting up with our long questions, man.
No, it was a lot. It was a great question, but yeah, thanks for having me on anytime, and I'm really looking forward to the game.
All right, have a good Saturday, have a good championship game. We'll take the break here. We'll come back. We got more around the corner. When we return, let's get to a Would You Rather portion of the program. We haven't been able to do it yet this week. We're going to do it right now when we come back. Stay with us, 97.5 the KSL Sports Zone.